Throwback Thursday.
You know what time it is.
Yeah, buddy.
Let's run this bitch back.
Yeah. That's what she said. That's what she said. Happy Ratchet Thursday.
There's so many names for this day.
We making them up at this point.
We are.
Yeah.
None of these make sense or are needed. But this is a rerun episode of North Park, which you might be like, is that a community area? Sure is.
Yeah, it's a community area. That's kind of our shtick here. if y'all ain't picked this up yet.
Y'all ain't picked this up. This was a really good one.
This was.
We had the best time. I forgot the name of the store. You'll hear it in the episode, maybe.
Yeah.
That we went to. We picked out some pickled herring. And that was Dario's first time ever having pickled herring.
Yeah, and here's the thing, y'all. Ate that bad boy live on the couch.
Gobbled it up.
see, this is y'all.
We have to bring back the shenanigan energy for the rerun intro. But before we head into the rerun, if you guys did not know, we have a newsletter that is now out and live and happening.
Hey.
It is, I've been wanting to do like a Substack for forever. And this Substack is basically kind of like a deeper dive into some topics that we talk about during the week, places that we've been to, some food we've tried. For example, the one for last week included the show that we went to see. I talked a little bit about Daniel Burnham and his plan for Chicago. Some things that we found during our research, but not necessarily talked about in the episode. I will also link some cool articles that I found, some really cool stuff. So it's kind of a more intimate space for us to hang out. Even more intimate than us in your ear. Don't you want that?
You know what I'm saying? You might catch some.
So check the show notes. It'll be linked in the show notes, and you can subscribe to it. It's weekly, and you'll get it in your inbox. Pretty short, pretty sweet. I think so.
Yes.
So yeah.
Me too.
Yeah.
And ready?
Let's get it.
We are throwing it back to community area number 13, North Park. This episode originally aired February 14th, 2022, Valentine's Day.
Aww.
See you after the break. Happy Valentine's Day to you.
Oh, thanks. To you too.
And to all of our listeners listening on Monday.
On this fake ass holiday.
Fake ass holiday.
Let's go.
We with it. 77 flavors. Now.
This is the podcast where we visit all 77 of Chicago's historic neighborhoods and discuss their heritage and taste the amazing food.
And if you know anything about us, we love two things, food and Chicago, so I can't wait to burn this gas money.
You ready?
Let's get it.
This is the 77 Flavors of Chicago, the podcast.
Hey.
You know what? So, if you guys are not watching on YouTube, Dario's drinking a Topo Chico that he has added orange
Jesus.
crush little squirty thing.
Ow.
Okay, that's what she said. Hey.
Hey.
And it's meant to last him the entire time of the recording.
Well,
but
it's
he's
not.
already 3/4 way through it, and it reminded me of something.
Yeah.
It's like the kid that goes to the movies, or anyone that goes to the movies, really, and buys popcorn and then eats it during the ads.
During the previews.
Yeah.
Well, now that y'all done heard all my dirty laundry before we said hello. Anyway, thanks for listening to another dope episode, 77 Flavors of Chicago.
Hey,
Dario.
Sarah.
We in the building. And
Having a grand old time.
Grand old time, you. Grand old time. How's things been?
Oh, you know.
The
usual.
Yeah, we've been. A reason why I asked that question is because we got new toys. Since the last time we talked to y'all.
Oh my God, yes.
Yeah, we got some toys.
Okay, you can share your toys first.
Man, look, y'all, I got a big boy camera, and if you ain't seen, well, you're going to see the pictures of the food if you haven't seen it. Ooh, your boy going crazy. Got me a new Canon R6, so now we can do more creativities. Creativities?
Creative.
Creative things. Activities. That's what
Creative activities is creativities.
How did I forget that?
I don't know.
Anyway, but yeah, I got a new I mean, this is my third camera in the last 2 years.
Yeah.
We started out really a fourth camera. It's the fourth camera.
You returned
one. I returned one. But started out small. Now,
from the bottom.
Yep, taught myself.
Now we're in the middle.
God damn. This Topo Chico activate quick.
You mean like in terms of burps?
Damn.
Wow.
Sorry. Your boy over here like a whoopee cushion.
Ew.
Sorry.
No, it's a normal bodily function. Sorry.
Yeah, it's too strong. But yeah, I got my toy. You tell me about yours.
Well, we got a cricket machine.
Hey, cricket.
And it's accessories of the cricket machine.
That's stupid.
What if that's what we meant? We meant like a jar of
Yeah,
crickets.
we got a jar of crickets. That's what we got.
That's what we got. We got a jar of crickets.
Yeah. Crickets. Sorry.
Yeah, we got a cricket machine and all of the accoutrement.
Accoutrement. All the accessories. Yeah.
Nothing fancy about a cricket. I don't know why I said accoutrement.
Shit, everything is fancy about a cricket.
Yeah.
Look at.
If you're watching on YouTube,
You see your boy.
this is a prototype of what we made.
You are the prototype. Yeah, that's an old school song, boy.
Yeah, I'm young. I don't know.
But yeah, I'm
But
old.
so we're coming up with new designs. We have we're gonna work on some cool things. I think we'll tell you later. Mm-hmm. Because it doesn't matter now. I don't know when it's gonna come out. So
I mean, we just
it'll just be cool shirts.
We just talking to people, telling what we've been up to over the last week.
Yeah. What have you guys been up to? What are you doing?
Yeah. Hit us up on Instagram. You know, or any kind of social media, Twitter or something. 77 Flavor Shot all over social media. Let us know how you been this week.
Yeah,
maybe we should start that. How y'all been this week?
Yeah,
you know what's going on in Chicago and the people out there.
You want to vent? Go ahead.
You know.
No problem. If Daria responds, that shit gonna be wild. If I respond, it'll be thoughtful and empathetic.
Who do you want a response from? Hey, this is a good engagement. Look, if you do want to talk, we'll talk.
Yeah,
I'll talk to you. But you know what? Speaking of talking and other things that we did, before we jump into the community area today, I do want to remind the listeners that this podcast right now, through the first 77 episodes, will be about the community area. Then we will be talking more in depth about the neighborhoods.
Yeah.
And for those that don't know, the 77 represents the community areas.
Yes.
There's a shit ton of neighborhoods here in Chicago.
Yeah, like well over 100.
Well, and some of the community areas are only community areas, no neighborhoods in them. Some of them have self-named community areas as neighborhoods as well. We'll dive into that. So if you're listening, just a housekeeping type of thing.
Yeah.
You know, we are doing the community areas first, okay? Just so that nobody's confused and being like, "Hey, you ain't giving enough time to this neighborhood."
And I feel like that's a fair review.
Yeah.
It's like we want more, which I think is I'm taking that as a compliment. The Leo in me, is taking that as a compliment.
Hell yeah, that's a good compliment.
That they want you want more in depth, and I completely agree. I think the way we are approaching this is that this is an entertainment piece, kind of something that is going to get the listener or you guys more excited about doing your own research about these community areas and these neighborhoods, and just for you to go check it out. We're not educators.
Yeah, well, kind of. We are.
Maybe you are.
Yeah. But by the same token, fun little announcement type of thing coming up in March. We are partnering with Choose Chicago, which is Chicago's marketing and tourism agency, and we will be talking about the neighborhoods in March.
So you'll see more neighborhood content.
Starting a little bit of a change where we focus on some neighborhoods, but you'll see a lot more content around specific neighborhoods, activities, restaurants, things like that. Still the community areas, right? Still doing the community areas, this, that, and the other. But just want to let y'all know where we at, and what's going on here. But come December,
right?
Then it's all on about the
because I think
neighborhoods.
our last episode technically should be
November 28th,
Thanksgiving.
Just the Monday after, actually.
Yeah, Monday after Thanksgiving. Yeah. So the Monday after that, you'll see a whole new
thank you thing.
Yeah.
So without further ado, you ready to get learned?
Taught
it, teached it, and funny thing about today, we're gonna talk about some teachers, but y'all listeners, 77 flavor heads, let's go.
What?
Let's get. I don't know what to call the people. Y'all good people. So flavorets. Hey,
Flavoroos and flavorets.
Flavoroos and flavorets.
Yeah, hey. And flavor, and just flavs.
Flavs. Hey, I kind of like that. Yeah. Flavs. What's up, Flavs? Flavorets and flavor rolls. Today, if you haven't read the title, you just click go play. We are
just clicked go.
We are talking about North Park. We were there. Yes. We're not there, not on location, but it is community area number 13, not neighborhood. Community area number 13. So let's get going. Let's get it cracking. A lot of fun stuff. A lot of fun stuff about this one here. A lot of fun stuff. But the boundaries. To the north, we got Devon Avenue. To the south, we got Foster and / Chicago River North Branch. And to the east, we got North Shore Channel. And to the west, we have Cicero Avenue. Quick little fun fact early on here. The Chicago's only waterfall is where the North Branch meets the North Shore Channel. Did you know that?
No, I didn't.
I did not know that. Doing the research, I'm going to give myself a coin. I dove deep for that one. Waterfall. Hey, look at another coin. Another coin.
You go crazy.
I am going crazy. I feel like it's a high coin episode.
You're drunk on Topo Chico, aren't you?
Yeah, that Topo Chico got your boy bubbly. Anyway. So if y'all remember previous episode, we talked about the channel that came from the Everson down to the North Shore Channel. It was built to serve a sanitation type situation. Anyway, keep on going. The name,
poops,
yeah, filtration, all that kind of stuff. So the name of North Park came from this story right here. 1893, a group of Swedish-American investors bought a bunch of farmland to create subdivisions. And to attract the Swedish immigrants, they called it North Park. They advertised it as North Park. Yeah. In 1983. I jumped ahead a little bit. I'm going to go backwards to talk about the actual origin, but I thought that was pretty cool.
That is pretty cool. And we learned a lot about the farmers from one of our stops today.
Yes, we learned a lot.
Yeah, we stopped in a Sweden shop.
Yes.
And we'll talk about that in the food. Snack portion.
Yeah.
Portion. But the owner actually told us a lot about the community area and the history of the Swedish population in that community area.
Yeah, I love the fact that she was so engaged away. Yeah,
oh my gosh, it was so nice.
Yeah, we'll get to it. The history. So now, just to let you all know, the Jefferson Township, y'all heard, if you've been listening to it from day one, you learned that the Jefferson Township is where pretty much the most of the northwest, the north, and some of the west community areas kind of came from through annexation. This is one of them. North Park is one of the ones. Origin started around 1855. Like I said, as a part of the Jefferson Township. A bunch of German and Swedish farmers came to the area. They were the first settlers. Yeah. Czechs moved into the area. Now, this is really cool. The Bohemian National Cemetery was formed in 1877.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, and the reason why it was formed, I got some fun facts here. When it was formed, January 7th, 1877, about 20 Czechs held a mass meeting led by, let me get this name right, I hope I do, it's František Zadrubic.
I don't think you did.
Zadrubic. František Zadrubic. Woo. He called all Chicago societies to come together and create a quote-unquote free national cemetery where Czechs could be buried without regard to religion.
Yeah. So I was very intrigued by this cemetery while we were there. And so I did some...
One little thing before you keep on going. April 11th, 1877 is when it was officially incorporated. So there you go. 3 months later. That's all I want to say.
Nice. What I was going to say is I was very intrigued when we were there, and it has a lot of really, really cool things. And I'm going to pull up the Chicago Tribune article that kind of, if you're interested, we'll post a link to it, and you can go ahead and read it. I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but Helen Sclair,
I don't know who that is.
She is accredited for doing a lot of the research about this specific cemetery, and she kind of discovered a lot of like historical documents and facts and stuff like that really told us a lot about the history of Chicago. So much. Thank you very much.
Heavy.
It's credit to the Chicago Tribune for this teachable thing.
TPOV.
TPOV.
Teachable point of view.
Oh.
There you go.
That's nice. And so obviously, like you said, the reason that the cemetery came about was because of the tension between the church.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And the local immigrants.
Yep. And
the first person that was buried there is thought to be a little girl, and she was buried in July 1st, 1877.
Look at that.
Isn't that crazy?
Look at that.
And one of the cool things that we visited there was Beyond the Vines, which is a tribute to Wrigley Field.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a really, really cool stained glass kind of monument.
Yes.
24 it's a brick wall.
Yeah, brick wall, just like Chicago. Yeah. So to describe it, it is just like Wrigley Field. It is a 24-foot wall that is made up of similar brick, has the 400 marker, just like center field in yellow, has ivy over the brick wall. And the cool thing is that it has the names of people who are buried there.
Correct.
Or the ashes, right?
Yes, the ashes.
Yes, the ashes that are buried there.
Yep.
And they are forever.
Yeah, so that's why people I think what I understood from the article is that because burials are not allowed at Wrigley, obviously, they wanted to build something that is for fans that wanted to kind of be buried there or something similar to that. They also had old box seats.
Yes. Bleacher seats. They had the bleacher seats there, the old benches that are in there. Yeah, I did some more research too. The pictures that you see on our social media this week or whenever you watch it don't really tell the story because it's set up a lot differently. Maybe when the snow is not there, but it looks cool because they have a home plate type of thing right there. They have the seats are arranged a little bit differently, kind of facing that brick wall. So if you want to come and sit and kind of talk and look at your loved one, you can do so. It's
there's
really
benches.
Super cool setup. Cool setup.
Yeah.
It was created in 2005 and it was dedicated in April of 2009. So
correct.
Pretty cool. You want to know some other cool facts about the Bohemian National Cemetery?
Yes, please.
It has some notable people there. Anton Cermak, who was the 44th mayor of Chicago, he is buried there. Now, if you don't know about his story and how he became to be buried,
I thought you said his story.
Look at
instead of
if you don't know about his story about his death, he was assassinated in an attempt to actually assassinate President Franklin D. Roosevelt in February 15th, 1933. So, anybody out there paying attention, today, if you listen to it on Monday, is February 14th, 2022. Tomorrow, Tuesday, is the 15th. And we will be 89 years to the day.
That's crazy.
Of this podcast. When you're listening to it, we are one day short of 89 years of his assassination. So, that's 44th mayor of Chicago. The victims of the Eastland shipwreck in 1915, they are buried there. A lot of folks from that wreckage I
think majority of the people are buried there.
Majority of them are. And if you don't know about the Eastland shipwreck, it was a shipwreck that happened in the Chicago River. The ship rolled while docked in the Chicago River. 844 deaths. It is the largest. It was at the time. I don't know about now. I didn't find that kind of number, but it was the largest all-in-one, mass people death
what
at
year
one
was
time.
that?
1915.
Well,
in the Great Lakes. That's what I was. In the Great Lakes,
the Titanic had like
in the Great Lakes, it was the largest mass shipwreck in the Great Lakes.
Wow.
Continuing on, more on some lighter note, lighter note.
Non-cemetery related.
Yeah, non-cemetery. Facts. It's just that's a big deal there. Yeah. So North Park College began construction in 1894, along with the subdivision. Now, the reason why I bring that up is that was kind of the growth part of them being annexed to the city. So they were annexed in 1889, and the growth of their story is just like everything from Jefferson Township. You go to the city, you get transportation and other kind of development, sidewalks and sewage and things like that, lights, street lights and all that kind of stuff. So that attracted people to start coming there. And here's kind of how the population grew over time. 1910, the population was only 410 people. From 1910 to 1930, the apartments started being built, subdivisions started being built up. In 1920s, just like we know, the bungalows started. Bungalows came in that's a Chicago thing. we just absolutely loved our bungalows, and that brought a lot of people there. It reached a high point in the 60s, and throughout the World War II, population boomed, and then it peaked in the 60s. But the decline, kind of like how everything in the city kind of declined after that, from the 80s to the 90s, they had about a 6% gain actually from the 80s to the 90s, but from 60 to the 80s, like the rest of the city, huge drop off in population. Most of the population, like we've been saying here, had been Swedish population. They diminished though, and we talked to I forgot her name, Patty. Was her name Patty? I think at Swedish shop. They declined. The population there is declining of Swedish folks, but in recent years, Hispanics, Koreans, Filipinos, and Middle Eastern population has kind of created a nice little mixture of culture in North Park, which is really cool to know about. Now, the community is holding strong, and there's some other fun facts about North Park that did not know. North Park College is now called a university, and I'll tell you how we got here. So, Northeastern Illinois College opened in fall of 1961. My dad was 1 year old. I always bring my dad up as a reference because it's like I feel like my mom was not even born yet. Not even born. She was born in 62. The original purpose of Northeastern Illinois College was to train elementary school teachers for the city of Chicago, and the name changed as to the Chicago Teachers. It started out as the Chicago Teachers College North, and it started with 1,364 students who all were trying to be teachers. In 1965, the name changed to Illinois Teachers School Chicago North, and eventually it changed to, in 1971, it changed to Northeastern Illinois College.
That's so interesting.
So 3 name changes.
Yeah.
3 name changes in a matter of, what are we at, 60 years?
Yeah. I feel like Illinois in general is like very teacher heavy in terms of school. I think I went to ISU, and I think, if I remember correctly, they had a similar story where they started out as a teaching school, and then they expanded, and then they became a state university.
Wow, that's pretty. I mean, if I remember, that is a lot of teachers. You know what I mean? Like teaching school, like that's pretty. We got to do some research about that. Maybe that's a thing.
Maybe
here
it's an Illinois thing.
Yeah, maybe that is. I mean, this one is clearly Northeastern Illinois. So.
Well, I mean, I feel like if you're thinking of like what people wanted to be, it was either farmers, nurses, teachers. Like, there wasn't like content creator.
Yeah, right.
Nobody was out here being creative.
Yeah, that was the norm back then. Now, before I move on to got another bit of information, is you mentioned about like what people want to be. So a lot of nursing homes, senior citizen homes started up. The community aspect, when you talk about community area, North Park really embodies that. Like they are a community that looks after, not themselves in a bad way, but like they really do harness that community aspect. You know what I mean?
Right.
Really, really cool thought process, and we'll get to it when we talk to the food because you can just tell the passion in her voice as we talk to her. Now, before we leave from the history part of it, here's some fun Chicago history. Anybody heard of WTTW? Hey, WTTW. Do you know what that stands for? I said it. Window to the world.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Does it really stand for?
That is the call sign. That is the call sign. That's what it means. Window to the world. If you are a longtime Chicagoan, you watched WTTW when you ain't had no money for cable. You just had WTTW. That was part of my childhood. I got excited thinking about like this because as I'm listening off and reading the history about WTTW, man, I'm like, that's crazy. I used to watch all this stuff on there. So it has WTTW has offices and studios in North Park. That's why we're talking about it. It started in 1952. The creation of more TV channels permitted Chicago Educational TV Association permitted the Chicago. I'm sorry. In 1952, your boy, the Topo Chico, got me going crazy.
Yeah, for real.
In 1952, the creation of more TV channels were permitted, and the Chicago Educational Television Association established a new public TV station, which was WTTW. First aired in 1955, September 6th. So pretty cool. And here's some of the early stations that they had. Frugal Gourmet. Now, if y'all, for the old heads like me that's out there, I'm saying something, I know you probably have no clue what the Frugal Gourmet. I watch the Frugal Gourmet all the time.
What is it about?
Cooking show.
Oh.
Cooking show. Yeah, it was Frugal
Full
Gourmet.
circle.
Oh, yeah, right. Full circle, you know? Lamb Chop. This is the song that doesn't end. It goes on and on. My friend, I think that's how it goes. Yeah.
You're asking me?
No, you don't know Lamb Chop?
No.
Oh my goodness, we got to put a picture of Lamb Chop up here. It was a little puppet. It's a puppet show.
Oh.
Yeah, and it was a lamb. She was like the star of the show. Forgot the lady name. Shirley was her name. But she was the human talking to these puppets, and they would do things. I feel like dope.
That idea sounds very familiar.
Yeah, it was. I mean, the Muppets.
I might have seen it. No, I mean, like I feel like I've seen the Lamb.
I'm sure if you haven't heard, you haven't. You had to see the Lamb. But the song you gotta hit. This is the song that doesn't end. It goes on.
I mean, I was a full-grown adult when I moved here, so probably not. I wasn't watching Muppet public television shows.
That's true. That's right. I mean, if you listen to this, you be like, how the hell don't she know? She's from Jordan. And she came over here as an adult. You know what I mean?
18 years old.
18 years old. You know what I mean? So we weren't watching that. You know, when she came over here, she definitely wasn't watching that. But Check Please, another Chicago.
I know about Check Please for sure.
Yes, another legendary Chicago show that once was. We got now. Here's you gonna say something?
No.
Here's something that's really cool for some more old heads. I'm just naming off these shows just because it's nostalgic. Sneak previews with Roger Ebert and Gene Siskel.
Is that the movie reviews?
Yes.
You've mentioned that before.
Yes, I have, because it was that big of a deal to us.
Isn't that guy buried at Roseland Cemetery?
Rose
Hill?
Yes, Rose Hill. Rose Hill,
I
yeah.
said Roseland.
Yeah, so pretty cool. Pretty cool. That I'm telling you, that show was fantastic. Now, what I remember of that show, too, and I was young, it was like watching a movie. Do you want to go watch this movie later? You know what I mean? Like, you listen to these two. And here's the thing about those two. Really cool. One of them worked for the Sun-Times. The other one worked for the Tribune. But they had this show that they were, like, beefing with. Like, during the show. So it was kind of weird, you know, for them to do it. But, you know, their friendship kind of let them keep the show going.
That's very interesting.
Yeah, but they were still work rivals. Yeah. But they worked on the show together.
That's so funny.
Crazy dynamic.
That's so interesting.
A couple more. Chicago Tonight, great show on right now. Yep. Still on WTTW. And then I left this one personally for last.
Is it a Jeffrey Bear show?
It is all the Jeffrey Bear shows, y'all. Let me tell you, Jeffrey Bear
is like your personal hero.
He really is. Like, if I had like a real life hero, I think it would be Jeffrey Bear.
Yeah.
I'm not even just saying that.
I believe you.
You know, like when we first started dating, at the beginning of the pandemic,
yep.
we watched all of Jeffrey Bear for like 8
All
hours
of it.
straight, 8 hours, 10 hours, or whatever. I went out. Matter of fact, y'all, I went out. I was so dedicated to show her this. Now, I've seen probably up until that point at the beginning of the pandemic, I saw everything Jeffrey Bear did at least 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
All the way through. So I told Sarah, I was like, hey, and your sister at the time,
Mm-hmm.
I said, we got to watch this. And we had just redid the little den area.
Yep.
I went out and I picked up a Apple TV just so we could plug it in because we ain't got the cable back there. Don't reach. But I went back there. We watched all of Jeffrey Bear.
All of it.
All of it. Because I'm that big of a fan.
We didn't get up. It was kind of interesting.
It was good.
It was very good. I'm a huge fan of Jeffrey Bear. I mean, I didn't grow up watching his stuff, but I really appreciate everything that he's done in terms of like educating.
Yes.
You know, I feel like he's a staple.
Yes. He really is. I mean, like, he got me.
Synonymous with Chicago.
Yes. Got me wanting to learn and talk about the city and be I want to be like a tour guide. I still want to be like a tour guide. And in a way, we are tour guides around the city. But I want to do that, like, with all the crazy details. I just want to know all that stuff. So,
right.
And
he has a wealth of knowledge.
He does. He does. And that's because of him. Like, the reason why I love the city the way I do, obviously I love it just naturally, but the history part of it, him, Jeffrey Bear, that's the man. So
I did want to kind of jump back a little bit to something that we also learned from the Swedish the Sweden shop is that the neighborhood used to have a huge Korean population.
Yes.
And only recently that began people, the Korean population started moving to the suburbs.
Yeah.
The third and fourth generation, right? So they started moving out of the neighborhood. And that's when it started becoming more and more diverse. But that's very interesting because the last time they had the Korean Fest was in 2019, right before the pandemic.
Yeah,
that was the last one.
We learned that fact. We'll give her a coin too because that was.
That's why I love talking to
people in the neighborhood,
right in the community, because you learn so much from them and how they view it. I mean, the Sweden shop. I guess we'll talk about it in the food portion. Mm-hmm. Let's go get this money.
Yeah. That is it. That's all I got.
Wow.
Yeah. That's it. That's all I got
for
that. But you're right. Let's go ahead talk about Dion, our boy Dion, and get this anchor paper. Yeah. We'll be right back.
Hope you loved that. Don't forget to sign up for our newsletter. Check the show notes for that, and we'll see you Monday. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode, and we hope you loved it.
And if you could, please follow us on social media at 77 Flavors Shy on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and Twitter.
If you have any ideas or deep dives that you'd love us to do, please contact us at media@77flavorsshy. That's the number 77 flavors and shy for Chicago.com.
If you like visuals, please subscribe and follow and watch us on our YouTube channel at the same thing, 77 Flavors Shy, or search 77 Flavors of Chicago.
If you would like to support us monetarily, go ahead and click that Buzzsprout link in the description of this episode.
And as always, we gonna see you next week. Peace.